ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ श्री सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ ध्यायामि चिन्मयानन्दं गुरुदेवं महामतिं प्रेमपूर्णं क्रियाशीलं सदा लोकहिते रतं कृपालुं सुन्दराकारं समर्थं सत्यदर्शिनं वाचा तत्त्वप्रकाशिन्या शोकमोहविनाशिनम्। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय। 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 ॐ ऋतगं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गलम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः। ॐ नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात्। हरि ओं सुप्रभातम्। ॐ शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिहृद्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। 23 ॐ गुरुर्गुरुतमो धाम सत्यः सत्यपराक्रमः निमिषो निमिषस्रग्वी वाचस्पतिरुदारधीः अग्रणीर्ग्रामणी श्रीमान्यायो नेता समीरणः सहस्रमूर्धा विश्वात्मा सहस्राक्षः सहस्रपात् आवर्तनो निवृत्तात्मा संवृतः संप्रमर्दनः अहः संवर्तको वह्निरनिलो धरणीधरः सुप्रसादः प्रसन्नात्मा विश्वधृग्विश्वभुग्विभुः सत्कर्ता सत्कृतः साधुर्जह्नुर्नारायणो नरः. Among the 11 names of this shloka, we have seen 7 namas completely, and we are now discussing on the 8th nama, Sadhuhu. And yesterday we discussed what exactly Sadhu means, and today we will again discuss on what is Sadhu according to the Acharyas. One important meaning is Nyaya Pravrittataya Sadhuhu. The one who functions strictly according to righteous code of living is called a sadhu. However, we all know, as long as the realization of the Brahman takes place, you can switch it on. As far as the realization of Brahman takes place, one is definitely influenced by the mind. When one is influenced by the mind, as we said yesterday, he is definitely influenced by the Trigunatmika Maya, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. And Sadhuhu here, though it is said Nyaya Pravrittataya Sadhuhu, he does have certain limitations, but he overcomes the limitations, ignoring them at the time when it is trying to persecute. That is the difference. Sadhu also has a mind, but he is able to ignore them, ignore the wrong thoughts, ignore the unpleasant thoughts, ignore the unrighteous thoughts, and continue to be in the righteous thoughts. This is what we need to understand properly. And therefore, he definitely functions perfectly. He definitely functions for the sake of working for the society. The next explanation says, Sarvan Purushartham Sadhayati va Sadhuhu. Sarvan Purushartham. A sadhu is not only a person who has come to know the truth in himself. Now, having gained the experience of which, he also wants all other people to trek the path and experience that supreme joy of knowing that supreme. Sarvan Purushartham. When it is said everybody has to reach there, then all those who have to reach must have Chitta Shuddhi. And therefore, he promotes all kinds of actions for them to gain their Purushartha of what? Artha, Kama and Dharma. However, in the process of taking them along, he also teaches them. What does he teach? Artha, basic requirements are required, yes. And in fact, as I had mentioned earlier, those who do not have basic requirements, they won't come to all these talks or Vedanta, etc., etc. So those who come to Vedanta are people who have enough for their basic needs. And then want. Want has no end. So he is addressing those people who have wants, and who also makes them realize how they can fulfill their Icchartha through Dharmika way. And then he also explains them how that Ichcha for pleasures can be reduced and Ichcha ichha for loka sangrahartam, loka kalyanam can be increased, thereby that sadhaka also increases the purity in mind. And he takes them to that extent where the last Purushartha, he takes them towards moksha, which is the Chaturtha Purushartha, and in fact, that is the only Purushartha. Artha, Kama, Dharma, Dharmartha, Kama, all the three of them are at the level of Vyavaharika Jivana. But he leads them to Paramarthika Satya. And what is that? Moksha. Therefore, it is said, Sarvan. Sarvan meaning what? He has no discrimination. He has no reservation. He doesn't, say, you are not permitted to come, you cannot do this, you are not ready. All that he never says. He teaches them. At whatever level they are, he informs the way of living and guides them towards reaching that higher state of experience, higher state of living. And then it comes to a stage where the living is also at the higher stage, but he also introduces them as though to a higher life. The first is the living. That is a very important part for every human being in the common life. And then he introduced them to standard of life. Dharmartha, Kama, all the three are required for a standard of living, along with purification of the mind, Chitta Shuddhi. And then he also introduced them, along with that, he introduces Sadhana Chatushtaya. Viveka, Vairagya, Shamadhi Shanka Sampatti, Shama, Dhamma, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam, and then through all this, he increases the mumukshutvam in them for the standard of life, for the ultimate Purushartha, which is moksha. Sarvan Purushartham Sadhayati. Iti Sadhuhu, one who makes possible for us to accomplish the various Purusharthas by providing all means. He also helps us, he also guides us from the beginning, no doubt. Artha and Kama, he also guides them to enjoy Kama with proper, righteous, legitimate influence. Then there is no problem. Problem comes only when there is illegitimate contact with the world outside. And then he guides them and says, you are eligible to enjoy, but this much and no further. And then he takes them to that dharma, where with dharma, dharmika jivanam can also be enjoyed, can also be lived. Along with that, the very main dharma of a human being is to reach the chaturtha dharma, that is moksha. He introduces them to that final Purushartha, and whereby he makes them realize what all the things which they were doing earlier, which was not required, which was irrelevant, which does not take them to the higher plane. A sincere sadhaka, a true student, is one who takes the benefit of all such teachings and to the extent possible apply them in their Vyavaharika Jivana also, and promote themselves from a very baser, lower way of living, and slowly improvise on what? It is not the outer external living that is important, it is the inner molding. What is this molding? Handling themselves, handling their mind, and while handling their mind, handling their actions also. And step by step, move forward. And while moving forward, make sure there is very less number of steps going backwards. One cannot say, you will not come back. There are forces which will bring you back. recognizing at that time and putting up again further. This is what the sadhu does. He encourages the forward march. He discourages the backward march, and even in case the sadhaka comes behind, he holds them behind and say, doesn't matter, go forward. Thus, he takes them to the final purushartha of moksha being the only purpose of human life. Initially, the sadhaka will not understand. For him, this world appears very real. This world appears perfect. This world appears a place where we can enjoy, and such wonderful as though logical statements they give. Swamiji, we are all human beings. We have to enjoy this world. If the world is not enjoyed, then what is the purpose of being human being? Can a dog smile? Can a donkey understand Channa Bhatura? Can this one understand a different type of food like Pani Puri, etc.? Only human beings can understand and enjoy. Therefore, human life is to enjoy. This is called Kutarkavada. What is Kutarkavada? In a manner of saying, from that plane of existence, from the plane of existence of Kamartham, these may hold water. But when it comes to the very purpose of human being, the true purpose of human being, all this logic will not hold water. What is the true purpose of living? Is to understand our own true nature. This is possible only in the human life. Therefore, in the human life, we must take support. We must take support from the acharyas, from the teachers, from the elders, from the parents, from the neighbors, nay, even from the children. We must take support and modify. Modify for what? Modify from our lower, baser way of thinking to a higher way of thinking, a matured way of thinking. And while doing so, one must be very alert, one must be very careful in not slipping down. And even in case if we slip down, we understand that we have slipped down, doesn't matter, march forward. This strength, this inner strength, Atma Bala, is gained through the teachings of the Shastras and a Guru. And a sadhu is one who promotes such thinking and encourages the sadhaka. Yes, you did it. This much you have done. Still go further. Go further. Go further. Like, this is very understandable. In the insurance companies and all those places, they fix a target. And once you reach the target, the insurance company says, wow, you have done it. I think you can make it a little more. Come on, next target they will give. Is it not? If a person is able to achieve the target, then that alone never remains the target. Target is increased. Why? His capacities can be put into use much more better way. Similar is sadhana also. In sadhana, here is a person who has lower, baser, cheap values. He is generally neglected by the society, but a sadhu will never neglect. He will say, if you are capable of doing this, you are capable of going to the next step. Come on, I will hold you. He doesn't discourage. He doesn't point out. He doesn't blame. He doesn't, publicize. All he does is, doesn't matter, my child. Hold my hand. Come, I will take you. One step at a time. One step at a time. Think. This is the greatness of a sadhu. And then he takes him to such a level that that person himself wonders, was I living such baser life earlier? How unintelligent I was. How stupid I was. Think. And then he says, Sadhu, you are the person who have brought me this much. Anyatha sharanam nasti. Naguror adhikam tattvam, naguror adhikam tapaha. Tattvajnanat param nasti. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Guru is one who takes us to that tattva. A person who has to reach that moksha, a person who has to reach that tattva cannot be all the time pure alone in the past. That is why they say a santa has always a past. Think. He also might have come through the same thing. For him also, his guru must have held his hand and taken him step by step, ignoring the limitations of the person, encouraging the abilities of the person, pointing out the capacities of the person. The sadhu takes him further and further. Look at that. Sarvan purushartham sadhayati. In fact, at certain period of time, he even helps the student in enjoying the laukika jivana. It is possible. But what is his goal? What is his ultimate intention? Think. His intent is, while giving him certain basic things, that person will no more have to wonder about those certain things. That is fulfilled, and he says, you enjoyed this? Wonderful. You deserve this actually. You deserve this pani puri. You deserve this masala dosa. You deserve this channa bhatura. How tasty is it? I also enjoyed. But there is something more. What is that? If he is a South Indian sadhu, he may say, we will have a meal, which is much better in the content. We will have a South Indian meal. He will probably introduce him to one payasam. He will introduce to some idli vada. Maybe. I am just giving you one vague example. But he will take him to a better way of life. And from there he will take him further. He will say, joy is not in all of them. Joy is in your mind. And he says, if the mind is proper, whatever you eat, you will enjoy. And then he will take him further. That enjoyment is only at the tongue level. Move further. Just as yesterday I said, Gurudev said, you have come up to my nose, go further. What does that mean? You have enjoyed life to this extent. You have enjoyed life at the sense level, at the sense pleasure level. Now move further. He takes him with love, with care, with appreciation, with accommodation. And he takes him further. And then finally, he leaves him at the final end of moksha and he stays behind. This is the glory of a guru. Glory of a guru will take you to that level, but he will never push you. That part is your own. Our own sadhana. Therefore, sarvan purushartham sadhayati. He takes them together by providing all means, by providing all information. That doesn't mean, oh, sadhu means he will also provide all my arthakama also. Swamiji, please get me one channa bhatura, one plate. No. Don't misunderstand that. He will not discourage you and throw you out of the place. He will encourage you and show you a better path. That is the glory of a guru. Therefore, such a guru is called sadhu. Think. Another very beautiful definition is given. Parakaryam sadhnoti iti va sadhu. The one who tries to help others accomplish their purusharthas in the righteous way towards Supreme. This we saw. This is one general explanation given. There is one more explanation to it. Karyam means, in this context, sadhana. Parakaryam means sadhana which leads to that Parabrahma, Paramatma. And sadhnoti, he helps that sadhaka not only reach to that level of moksha, he makes him understand, assimilate, abide in that sthiti, remaining in that sthiti. Now please note, it is one notch below. It is one notch below the Brahma Anubhava. What is this? One notch below, not yet realized, almost realized, at the threshold. Like how I gave the examples of pole vault. You take the pole vault, go behind. 30 feet you go behind, 30 feet, 40 feet you go behind, and then hold the breath, hold the pole properly at the right place, not right below or not right at the top, at the right place you have to hold. This holding the pole at the right place indicates holding the Guru in the right way, at the right time of life. Having held, hold it properly, hold it strongly, and then run. This running is the sadhana, where I give all my energies, I run, I breathe hard, and I take myself along with the pole further. Placing the pole is placing the faith in the Guru. And the Guru, having placed, having surrendered at the feet of the Guru, at the foot of the pole there, and then the Guru will lift you to that extent. But once he reaches there, you have to leave the pole. You have to leave the Guru. You have to leave the Shastra. Shastra, Guru, everybody are a support, an alambana for us to go to that stage. Once you reach that stage, you must leave. Guru will not leave there. Please understand. Guru will not leave, you have to leave. Tyagena eke amritatva manashuhu, says Upanishad. You have to glide into that portion, but going till then, sadhu is required, Guru is required. And it is this Guru, parakaryam. What is that parakaryam? The final glide into that Brahma Jnana, into that Brahmanubhava, into that experience of Aham Brahmasmi. Up to that he will take, and then he will leave you. Now this has got two very important thinking. One is, when you say he will leave you, it doesn't mean that he ditches you. Leaving you is also helping you to glide into the other side. Otherwise, it's a foul play. Think. Therefore, parakaryam, that karyam of taking you up to the threshold, taking you up to the doorstep, the Bhagavan, the Guru does, Sadhu does, Sadhnoti. Therefore, also he is called Sadhu. And this, the Param Sadhu, is Paramatma Brahma alone. In fact, it is said, once a sadhaka reaches that threshold, then Bhagavan takes over from the sadhu and make you glide carefully down, it seems. Even though it appears that you fall down, there is a beautiful cushion put there, and that beautiful cushion is nothing but the love of Bhagavan. Think how wonderful this knowledge is. How careful is the Guru, how beautiful is Bhagavan. All of them work only for all of us to rise, asking nothing, demanding nothing, anticipating nothing, expecting nothing, absolutely nothing. All they want is to reach you there. Therefore, parakaryam sadhnoti iti sadhu. Think. And Bhagavan is called as Sadhu. Another version of that is Bhagavan himself comes as the Guru. That is why it is said Naguro Radhikam Tattvam. Guru himself is Bhagavan. How do we chant? Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnuhu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guruhu Eva Param Brahma. Therefore, Bhagavan himself comes down as the Guru and takes this child, the sadhaka, and makes him reach that supreme. Therefore, Bhagavan is also called Sadhuhu. There is no end. We can go on speaking about a sadhu. However, I have to complete Vishnu Sahasranama. This is your demand. Therefore, I proceed further. The 244th Nama calls Bhagavan as Jannuhu. Jannuhu meaning what? Janan samhara samaye apahnute apanayati iti Jannuhu. Apahnute meaning what? He takes them. He takes them. Who? Bhagavan. Janan samhara samaye. At the time of pralaya, he takes them. And then apanayati. He leads them again when the creation comes. Now this he has to do. Why? Because the jiva is still not got that supreme. I don't know whether you remember, we had discussed the life of a human being is one lifetime, whatever the number of years one lives. The life of a subtle body is till one creation. But it is said the life continues again when the creation is started after pralaya, as long as one realizes Brahman, the true nature, our own true nature, this punarapi jananam punarapi maranam continues. So as long as that happens, this jiva has to be taken care. This jiva has to be taken care at the time of pralaya, and again creation starts. And Jannuhu is what? Janan. Janan, when it is said, we have to understand it not only human being, all creatures. All the creatures are taken in the sense what? This again one small understanding. It is not that physically or in that particular form they take. The jiva is taken. Think. The jivahood is taken and the jivahood is again released at the time of creation. This collection and then releasing is what Bhagavan does. Therefore, he is called as Jannuhu, the one who takes all jivarashis, all species at the time of resolution, at the time of pralaya. Apanayati, he leads them. He leads them towards that. Therefore, he is called as Jannuhu. And the next nama is the most popular nama. Or if I can tell it in my language, most popular nama, which is, one more, this one I forgot in the Jannuhu. Bhaktan Paramapadam Nayati iti Jannuhu. The one who leads, as I said, Apanayati. Apanayati is what? The one who leads devotees to their goals. This also we saw in the previous nama, Sadhuhu. And one more nama, we had told earlier, there are same meaning with several namas. There are several meaning in the same nama. Now this we find in the this particular nama, Jannuhu, one who leads. Bhaktan Paramapadam Nayati iti Jannuhu. The next nama is Narayana. This word is heard 1,000,000 crore times in our life. We have heard this word. Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. We have lot of Santa Purushas, Sadhu Jana, not only sannyasis, even normal common people when I say grihasthas, often chanting Narayana very many times every day. I remember both Param Puja Gurudev and Puja Guruji, Swami Tejomayananji, and lot more, Swami Brahmananji, who is the head of Chinmaya Mission in Bangalore. Anybody who comes, offer the namaskaram, Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. This is a word which is used by everybody in the form of blessing. And the same nama is used in the form of japa. And in fact, near Kolar, there is one Santapurusha's Kshetra. He is no more, but his Kshetra is called Narayana. Near Kolar, about 7 kilometers from Kolar in Karnataka. This Santapurusha called Narayana. Why is he called Narayana? Somehow he could not pronounce Narayana. So he would pronounce it as Narayana. Like small children. Vaklatunda Magakaya Sulya Koti Samaplaba Nilvignam. That la shabda doesn't come in the initial stages. And very rarely people continue to be so. Probably, we don't know what is the reason, we don't have to find all that, it is none of our business also. This Santa Purusha, he meditated upon Narayana and he realized his true nature. And there is a Kshetra there, Narayana Kshetra. Why? Because he only chanted Narayana, Narayana. All time of his life he has chanted Narayana. That great is this Nama, Narayana. Narayana, obviously we all know, it indicates or it is a Nama of, one among the Namas of Bhagavan Sri Vishnu. Why is he called Narayana? To understand this Nama called Narayana, we have to understand another word called Naraha, which is the very next Nama in the Vishnu Sahasranama also. Narayano Naraha, it is said. Therefore, for convenience, we will take the definition of Naraha. What is Naraha? Na riyate iti Naraha. Naraha is Jiva, human being, as far as our understanding goes. This Jiva, human being, never dies. Understand? It might be very shocking because we see people dying. And then we understand or we claim he died. He died meaning what? It is over. He dies meaning his sharira changes. Just as we change houses, sharira also changes its. Why? The sharira became weak. Then what? Like for example, your vehicle, two-wheeler, it has become old. It has become weak. The tire of the two-wheeler or the four-wheeler, when the tire becomes weak, what do? You remove the tire and change the tire. Isn't it? Similarly is Jiva, this Sharira. The Sharira becomes weak. Sharira is no more able to function. It cannot see properly. It cannot hear properly. It cannot speak properly. It cannot sit properly. It cannot lie down also properly. Gurudev very beautifully used to say, he is not yet died. Why? Because he has no capacity even to die. That much weak he becomes. Gurudev used to say. All of us who are alive, our body becomes weaker over a period of time. In some cases, at the very early age, the body becomes weak. Why? No proper direction to it. No proper caring for the body. Acharya used to say, first 25 years, if you can take care of the body very well with proper disciplining, the same body will take care of you for the next 75 years. But if first 25 years you become indisciplined in handling the body properly, then the next 75 years you have to spend only in taking care of the body. Think. Body is very important. It is a vehicle. And the vehicle must be fit and fine. But that body is not permanent. Body has to go. Body will die. But that Atma never dies. Parabrahma Swarupa has no death. That Jiva dies only when it surrenders itself and merges as though at the feet of Bhagavan. Once it becomes a Bhagavan, the question of death doesn't come at all. Think. So when it is said nariyate iti naraha, the human never dies. Look at the Chadvikara, asti, jayate, vardhate, viparinamate, apakshiyate, nashyati. Just as Jayate becomes, just as Asti becomes Jayaste, the fetus comes out in the world as taking birth. Vardhate, it grows. There is a change. You know what? Our body, according to science, dies almost every kshana, we must say. How? Every kshana, so many millions of cells die and so many millions of cells are created. What we see now is not at all the body what was there 10 years before. And definitely not the same body which took birth, which was there when it was born. Think. Therefore, from that standpoint, as though the body dies, every kshana. So just as there is a changeover from childhood to youthhood to middle-aged man, then to old man, similarly, death also is another change for again one more cycle, punarapi jananam. Think. So from that standpoint, Naraha, now body is not the Naraha. Body is only an instrument. Body is only a gadget which we use. But what is the real me is not the physical body, because simple reason is without any part of the body, physical body, we can still be alive. Let us suppose in an accident my hand got cut, or we become very, very sweet enough to that extent that we develop gangrene in the leg. They amputate the leg for what? For the survival of the person. And the person still feels full and he never says, I am 87% fine. Why? 13% gone. My leg has been, so I am only 87%. No. He as a human being, probably with any of the deficiencies in the body, he still feels as I am. This feeling of I am has no deficiency. I can feel I am not complete because I don't have my leg. I have a part of my body reduced, but I am not reduced. I remain the same. That is why Gita says, Na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuyah ajo nitya shashvatoyam puranah na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Sharira drops. The real me has no death. Therefore, the real me takes a different form. Like how you change your tire, you took a new tire and the vehicle goes on. Vehicle moves on. Similarly, this body cannot remain all the time. Body only dies as though, but the Naraha cannot die. He is. Think. The next step. If the Jiva knows himself as the limitless Parabrahma Swarupa Paramatma, the unborn Atma, then he crosses the concept of time and space. He becomes timeless. He becomes spaceless. And that timeless, spaceless Brahman never dies. Think. Hanyamane sharire. When we say man does not die, here it is the Jiva, human being, because we understand human being, we have given that word there. Otherwise it is Jiva. It can be any other Pashu, Pakshi, Prani, anything. The real essence in them never dies. Therefore, nariyate iti naraha. If he does not know the Supreme Brahman, then he continues to be in some other form. How is it so? I take birth again and again as long as I realize my true nature. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jathare shayanam, whichever form it may be. The jivatva never dies. Jivatva continues to be. Alright. The next point. When the realization of Brahman takes place, when I come to realize that I am that Supreme Parabrahma Paramatma, this never existed, then the Jiva Bhava cannot die. How? The Jiva never existed. Just as in my dream sleep state, here is a dog which was chasing me and I run frantically to escape from the dog, and one stone I did not see, I fell down. When I fell down, I woke up. When I wake up, what is the condition? I realized that there was never such an incident that happened. All were my imagination as a dream. The dream world is not true, it is false. Now he will not say, all that is okay, but what happened to that dog which was chasing me? The dog was also never there. Think. The whole lock, stock and barrel as me as a dreamer, the dream world and the objects in my dream, all of them never existed. Now don't say, where did it disappear? Where did it go? It cannot go. Why? It was not at all truth. So how can the dream be, the dream died away? No. It never existed. Similarly, this Atma never dies. The Jiva Bhava, which as though dies, never existed. Think. And what existed is Parabrahma Swarupa Paramatma alone. We will continue tomorrow. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.